It is time, UPS truck. It is time that I show you the new project vehicle. Just a little preface on this, and I'll kind of go into this a little bit more after I show you. Sorry, my allergies are bananas right now. This is something that I have been actively looking for about the last 10 to 12 months. This vehicle has been a part of my history. My grandpa had one, my other grandpa had one. They each actually had several. My dad drove them. So it's something that I've always kind of had a soft spot for in my heart. Like I said, I looked for about 10 to 12 months. If you have any knowledge about the vehicle, you'll know that they are hard to come by without rust on them. So what I wanted was, I wanted one with either a new or rebuilt motor, and I wanted one without rust. That's really what I was mainly looking for. So without further ado, I will show you what I got, and then I will go into the specifics about it. So I hope you guys like it. This by no means means that there will be any less GTI or E30 videos. I'm still obviously heavily into that. The E30 is right here, GTI is behind me. So yeah, let's get into it right now, and I'll show you what I got. So there it is, the new project truck. I got a 1985 short wide square body C10, so 2-wheel drive. It has already been lowered a smidge. The owner before, the guy I bought it from, did some stuff and lowered it, but let's get a look at the inside real fast, and then I will show you the motor, and I'll show you some of the specifics I have about what the guy did before I bought it. So here's the inside. Absolutely nothing fancy. Bottom is destroyed just on the driver's side, so I put this here just for the time being. This will definitely either be something I replace. I'll either recover it or I will buy a whole new one. Wood grain, I wouldn't even really call it that. Steering wheel. Not a fan of this at all, but with kind of what I feel like the guy was going for whenever he bought it, this would be appropriate. So I will swap that out. I want to get an OEM. You know, I'll have to either find it off of a truck that's in good shape or buy one. Let's see, he had power locks put in, which, funny story, they work half the time, they don't others. It's probably the battery, but he, like I said, I believe that is either aftermarket. I believe it's aftermarket. It looks in way too good a condition to be OEM from 34 years ago. Kind of jumping into the interior, he has a cap on here, which doesn't seem to fit the best, but I like it because the dash is probably cracked underneath, as most are. So that came with it, not fans of those, but definitely not, you know, the first thing I'm ever going to change. This has saddle tanks, so it has the dual fuel tanks. I just use one side because it would be a lot of money to fill up, and I obviously won't drive this like I would drive my daily, so I put 20 bucks in it a week ago, and with how much I've driven it, which I've driven it quite a bit just to show people and stuff like that, I'm right at a little bit below a quarter. Radio's out. Guy before him took that out, given. It was probably aftermarket, so I probably would have done the same thing. That's about it with the interior. The guy actually has a black seatbelt that will match that one over there that he's looking for, and if he finds, he's gonna get it for me. If not really a big deal. Let's get into some of the receipts real quick. So like I mentioned a second ago, one of my qualifiers to buying a square body was either a rebuilt motor or a new motor. So this motor has been rebuilt. I'm not going to show you the receipts necessarily because his information's on it, as well as the auto shop. So the rebuild engine, just enjoy looking at that while I talk. The rebuilt engine was put in 2015, so it is about 3.5 years old, the end of 2015. It has the mileage as to what he was at whenever he put it on here. It was at 18,088, which these roll over, so 180,000. He had originally bought it for his kid. His kid decided, hey, I want something I can haul my friends in. So this was literally just sat at the house. So here's kind of the stuff that he also had done. the engine overhaul, gasket set, lower radiator hoses, antifreeze. He got an oil change, which I'm guessing that's the last time he got an oil change. He got a battery, carb gaskets, sending units, sending adapter, thermostat, all the belts were redone. So let's kind of jump into, that's the engine rebuild. Let's jump into the stuff that was done to the front end. So he had a lot of front end work done, about $2,500 or $3,000 worth, $2,500 or $3,000 worth. He had lower ball joints, idle arm, pitman arm, steering gear, power steering fluid, steering shaft, a multifunction switch, which I don't know what that is, turn signal switches, steering wheel, something, coolant reservoir, coolant, which that was crap. I already redid that, and that will be in a later video. Vacuum modulator, governor valve, trans fluid, upper ball joints, blah 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 blah. Then it shows the labor, water bottle, washer pump, Freon, AC dye. So that's what was done to the truck before I bought it, and while he was trying to get it, you know, up to par for his kid to drive. So with all that being said, almost a completely new front end, including the motor. So let me open up the hood and I'll show you what's under the hood, as I'm sure everybody is curious. It's a 5.7 liter 350. That is new. I put that in, which you will see a video of how to do that later. Like I said, that is new. I put that in, and I already replaced something else here, which you'll see a video of that later as well. So new-ish battery, not quite a year old. That is new. Lots of other stuff is new. I have a slight squeak, which you will hear it in a second, or a squeal rather, when I start the truck. I'm thinking one of the belts is loose, so I'll have to take that in to get tightened. I think that's a little past my knowledge. Now I will start the truck and let you hear it. The cool thing about this truck is, if you know anything about carburetor engines or carbureted engines, a lot of times you have to pump the gas once or twice, depending on the temperature, to get it started well. This engine requires none of that, which is bizarre to me. But I will say, if it does idle high, which sometimes carbureted engines do, quick fix to that, you just press the gas to the floor, and it just stops like that. And that was something that my grandpa and my dad both told me they remember having to do with their trucks. So I'll give it a quick little start. That buzzing will, there we go, it'll stop right now. So it sounds pretty good. Both mufflers have been cut off. So I'm not sure what I want to do about that yet. That probably would have been the first thing I did, just to give it a little bit better tone, but the tone is phenomenal right now. You know, my dad, I told you, he's owned several of these, and he already has an idea of, you know, hey, you should put this kind of muffler on it, or this kind of exhaust. I'm just like, okay, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. But it sounds pretty solid. This is it. Sounds pretty good. This trim right here is in the bed of the truck, but I'm gonna keep it off because the paint job's crappy. From about 10 feet away it looks decent, but you can see some orange peel in some spots. It had paint chip in some spots, which I went through. I had some old BMW paint that I just put over it just to prevent any kind of superficial rust from happening. The bed is unlined, nothing's been done with the bed, so that's something I can do. I can either get some kind of liner, or I can rhino line it. That would be interesting for me to try and do. Hint to what I already replaced right there. Yeah, this is it. This is my 1985 C10 5.7 liter 350 motor. I'm super psyched about it. Like I said, I have a lot of this truck in my family history, and I've always been a huge fan of square bodies. I wasn't really that picky when it came to either a long bed or short bed. I wanted a short bed, which is what I got, but that really wasn't, you know, a detouring factor or anything like that. So this is it. I'm super excited. There's so many ways that I can make this my own, and I'm really not 100% sure of what route I want to take yet. The wheels, I will tell you. Let's look at those wheels real quick. Turn it off. The wheels I absolutely hate. They may look cool on like a newer Chevy, but I don't think they fit this style at all. I'm not a fan. They are fuel throttle wheels, and they are actually wrapped in Nitto tires, which I like. But the car or the truck has been sitting for so long that the tires probably aren't good for much longer. So that's definitely one of the first things I want to do. I believe it'll change the look of the truck completely whenever I get something that's more appropriate for this style on there. Kind of thinking about torque thrust, American Racing torque thrust 2s. Those are pretty sweet. So like I said, there's just so much I can do with this truck, and I'm so excited to finally own one. I've loved them as long as I can remember. And after, 10 to 12 months of looking, I finally found one. Yeah, so that is it. I hope you guys like it. I hope you're psyched. I'm thrilled, and more content to come on it.